Hey everybody, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott.
And I'm Ben.
And this is Couchcast number 51. We've done 50 others of these, and we still don't know what we're doing, so enjoy and join us for this ride. It'll be great. Haha.
Fantastic intro. You just make everybody want to watch it. Or listen, rather.
Well, both. We throw up some gameplay, which makes it super engaging. I don't know, man. But yeah, so we're talking about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG, because I don't think anyone actually says the full name anymore.
Yeah, it's because it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. But yeah, and we're going to be talking about that versus Fortnite. Epic's Minecraft now battle royale competitor, like, in a way.
Not really, but sure.
I don't know. It's all it. Really, Fortnite's just like an amalgamation of like so many different games.
Sure.
But yeah. I still, like, in my mind, I connect it with Minecraft because it can't, like, they announced it like right after Minecraft became popular, so I'm like, oh, they're just trying to ride the coattails of Minecraft, and then Epic was like, haha, we have all the money, so we don't have to actually release this now. 6 years later, hey, Fortnite's out.
Okay.
Anyway,
I don't really know the story of their release or anything, so, but I mean,
well, that's pretty much it. It was a long time. They announced it a long time ago, and it, like, everyone was like, oh, that looks like Minecraft. So in my mind, Fortnite is Epic's Minecraft.
Yeah, they're not at all similar, by the way.
Build things.
That's not the only qualifying factor.
I know. Anyway, so for those who don't know what's happened over the past week or two, Epic released their free, like, I guess it's technically a beta right now, but it's a free-to-play beta standalone, so you don't have to actually buy Fortnite to play their own battle royale game, which is basically, you know, I gotta be honest with you, I haven't played it, but I've seen some video, and I've heard people talk about it, and it is basically a direct ripoff of Battlegrounds, like,
yes,
more so than like any other battle royale game, because there's a few, but like it's like the same thing where there's a random plane track, you jump out, you parachute down in, and like outside of you can build structures and bust through walls and stuff in Fortnite, it's basically the same game.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually seen anybody actually construct anything. I haven't played the Fortnite Battle Royale very much. But I mean, I've played, like, 10 or so games, which, depending on how fast you die, really isn't all that much time spent in the game. Yeah. But I've never actually seen anyone build anything yet, and I don't know if that's simply because they don't realize that they can, because I also played it like right when it came out, or maybe they just don't see the value in it, which I can also understand that. Because it seems kind of silly to build any sort of fortifications when you have to constantly keep moving. Actually, no, I did see someone, or I did find a constructed building at one point. So what I was saying isn't completely accurate, but all it really was like, if you were to imagine like someone building like kind of a balcony off of like a cliff face and then putting walls around it. That's all it was.
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
It's like sniper perch almost.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it was mainly so he could be like on the hill, but also have walls around him. That's my alarm. Forgot to turn it off.
It's 10:30.
Woo! But yeah, so the biggest difference, like you said, is that you can build stuff. I also think another big difference is that you cannot go first person at all. in
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like when you aim down sights or whatever, all it does is give you, you know, like a tighter zoom on the shoulder, kind of like in Gears of War when you zoom in with like the Lancer or something.
Yeah.
But I think at some point they added in iron sights for Lancer, didn't they? Or am I making that up?
Hey, the hammer burst in Gears 3 had iron sights.
Gotcha. But yeah, so like if you have a scope on a gun, you'll still get a scoped in view. But outside of that, like all you do is get like a tighter zoom on the shoulder and everything, which I'm not great at third person shooter stuff. Like I can perform so much better if I had the ability to switch to first person. But I don't. So that's kind of the main hurdle for me. And I honestly feel like that's sort of the main benefit, in my opinion, to PUBG. Because I know you have only played PUBG. I have technically played both, but my only exposure to PUBG was at PAX when I played the quote-unquote Xbox version, which was actually just the PC version, but with a controller plugged in. Yeah, not optimized for that at all yet. But the difference between the two, I think, is kind of the difference between like Halo and Call of Duty, almost. Where like Halo is kind of more of like a stylized, and I'm talking like campaigns, not multiplayer. Sorry, I should have specified that. But like Halo's more of like, you know, a stylized, like, you know, you're a badass aesthetic that isn't quite grounded in reality. Whereas Call of Duty, specifically like, you know, Modern Warfare 1, so Call of Duty 4, that campaign was like, you know, like super realistic and everything. Goodness gracious. And I feel like that's the main difference, and that's probably a very bad analogy, to be perfectly honest, now that I'm thinking about it more.
I think I got what you're saying.
I was just trying to avoid, like, I guess what some might consider, like, derogatory explanation of, like, you know, oh, well, one's super cartoony and limits you in a lot of ways.
Like, I mean, like, that's not derogatory. That's just, there's an art style to Fortnite that Epic has chosen to go with, and that carries over to their Battle Royale mode. Like, it's the same game, or like the same graphics, same...
Yeah, I just didn't want to, like, put myself in a position where I'm like, oh, you know, one's super cartoony and, you know, like... The other one's like, you know, super realistic. Well,
just don't use that voice. Like, just say like, it.
I don't know. Whatever. It
that's like saying that like you can't like a
tired.
Pixar movie because it's super cartoony. You can only like Saving Private Ryan because it's gritty and real. I don't like.
I mean, some people are of that mind.
Well, you're not. Like just say. I don't know, man. Just.
Anyways.
Oh man. But yeah, so. I think, like you said, the biggest difference to me is the gun mechanics. I personally hate when you can't aim down sights or anything, and like that goes for any game like Counter-Strike. I never got into because, you know, all the base guns until you can get like a scoped gun, or like you just kind of like aim, like you're just always aiming at any given point.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that for Counter-Strike.
And it really pisses me off because it just feels like it just feels
like you're
wrong.
Shooting from the hip.
Yeah, it just feels so wrong.
Yeah.
And so I like when I first saw Fortnite, I was like, "Oh god, this is Counter-Strike shooting." And like I can't get behind, like it hurts physically that like you can't aim. And
so well, I mean, I guess in that light, then, what's the difference between Fortnite and Gears of War?
because you're not always aiming in Gears of War. So like, if you pull the left trigger, you zoom in, but like you're actually aiming at that point. You're not always
as opposed to okay.
Like there's a feedback that's missing from like Counter-Strike and Fortnite that like Gears has. Like there's like visual
Counter-Strike I would agree with you on. Fortnite I don't it sort of has that problem. It's not nearly as noticeable as what it is in Gears. But like I said, I mean, when you aim, down sights or whatever, like you do get a tighter zoom on your shoulder and everything, and like your character brings the gun up and
that's
everything.
That's kind of like Mass Effect, right?
No. I would say that Mass Effect is a little closer to Gears of War in the sense that like they kind of have the gun like pointed down unless you pull the trigger or you're aiming. Okay. So
yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, there's like I want to be clear that like because Counter-Strike is obviously a very good game. Like it's not like not knocking Fortnite. It's just like part of the reason like why I haven't played it yet is I just like I have to build up to like being okay with that. Yeah. On a personal level.
I've only played it because it's my only option right now. To be perfectly honest, even having played this, I'm still probably going to get PUBG when it comes to Xbox, so.
PUBG's pretty good. So the other thing is that I noticed, and I think like you've experienced this, is that the map for Fortnite is a lot smaller than the map for PUBG.
I kind of felt like it was, but I couldn't be too sure because
I got confirmation in a Let's Play or something that like someone's like this map is so much smaller.
Gotcha.
So like I think it's much faster paced. Like I think like the games probably only take like 15 to 20 minutes to finish, as opposed to PUBG probably. Where like if you're in the final 5, you're there for like about 30 minutes, depending on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I never really timed myself, and I only made it into the top 10 once so far.
I think the top 10 that you were there for like 12 minutes, I think, was about the time. Because it was just during dinner that one night.
Yeah, but I had been playing for a little bit before you even came out, so.
That was a different game, though.
It was?
I saw you die a couple times. And then you went for your top 7.
Okay, I'll default to you.
Defer.
It's like it's the same thing.
No.
I didn't time any of that or anything, so I can't be sure.
It felt like 15 minutes ish.
Okay,
like just under 15 minutes.
I mean that's fine. It also really upsets me, and I guess like knowing that the map is much smaller, it makes sense, but it upsets me that there's vehicles just everywhere in Fortnite, and I can't use any of them.
Yeah.
Like there have been a couple times where it's like, oh, I picked the wrong place to go, so now I'm way outside the circle. I need to get there. Time to run, even though there's like 2 trucks and like a freaking minivan, and I think this I'm not sure if this gameplay made it into last week's podcast for when I used PUBG, but I was playing with my friend Sam and it was recorded, and we ended up in a city, and we both found like Car 98s, which are like the best snipers in the game. I had a silencer for mine. No scopes though, because there's never any fucking scopes in that game. And the circle was on the like exact opposite side of the map. Like we were in the northeast, and it was in the southwest. And so we were like, "Oh shit, we have to go!" And so we started running. And usually there's a car along the road somewhere. There was no car, so we just slowly died. That's unfortunate.
And then there was a motorcycle appeared, but it was blown up, so that wasn't helpful. It was just bad.
Yeah.
It felt really bad. So I know that struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, speaking of being upset, I forget the name of the company. So PUBG has spawned its own company now.
Yeah,
it's like
Blue something.
No. Bluehole was the original publisher. Now it's like it's player, and I think it's just Player Unknown or something like that is the company.
Okay.
So like it's its own thing. I didn't know
that there was a change there. I thought the company was Bluehole.
No, Bluehole was the publisher. PUBG. So Player Unknown was the developer, and Bluehole was.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know more about it than what I do. I didn't. I thought this was like the reason it was so crazy that it became so popular was because it was like this essentially like indie developed, like one guy made it type of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it was, but
then he wouldn't have a publisher.
He ended up with a publisher.
Okay.
I think like he probably needed some resources. I don't know. If you guys want like a history of PUBG, it's out there, or I can kind of do like a brief overview at some point. But basically, yeah.
This is not the video.
This is not that video. But anyway, so PUBG, like I'm just gonna use PUBG as to everyone on that side of the fence versus Epic. PUBG is upset that Epic has created their own battle royale game to compete with PUBG.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're upset is because I think like this is a big misunderstanding that a lot of people have. It's not that like they're upset about the battle royale like game type being copied, because even PUBG is a copy of other battle royale games. It's just the one that everyone has decided is the go-to battle royale game. Yeah. And not everyone. There's H1Z1 is still pretty popular and whatnot. Yeah. So, but the problem is that Epic designs or owns the Unreal Engine, which PUBG is using, and they're afraid that Epic will at some point make changes to the engine to benefit Fortnite's 100-player populations and not give that change to them or whatever. It's sort of the basic idea of what they're upset about.
Huh. Yeah, I can see how that would be concerning. And I'm not saying that like he shouldn't be concerned about that or anything, but I don't necessarily know that that's legal. I don't really know like the logistics of how Epic works, but I can only assume that somewhere in some sort of documentation it pretty much has like information saying that like the engine and everything that they use is the one, like the same one that's publicly available, if only because at that, like, if there ever becomes a discrepancy, like it's no longer the same product and it can't be advertised as such. Yeah. But I don't really know the logistics behind that at all, so but that's what I think would make sense to me.
So what I think happens is that Epic puts out like a base Unreal Engine product, and I think that it comes with the source code, so you can change the engine to fit your needs. As long as if you buy the license to do that, whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the Unreal 4, because I think that was UDK, you had to buy the license, but I think Unreal 4 you just do whatever you want with it. Yeah, you just pay like $20 a month or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And so because of that, I think that Epic can make whatever changes they want for their own games, and not have to publish those. Just like PUBG can make whatever changes they want to the engine, and they don't have to give those to Epic, I think.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
I believe that that's how that works. I am not an expert.
Okay.
But seeing as that's the case, I don't think that PUBG really has any reason to be upset, because they could do the exact same thing. Obviously, they probably don't have... Well, They have a lot of money now, so maybe they could. But I think that Epic has a lot more money than they do and a lot more resources to make those changes. So I can still understand being upset, but like I don't think that there's anything that Epic is doing wrong.
Has Epic even made any games? Well, I guess they made that MOBA.
Yeah, I mean Paragon, Smite,
Unreal. They did
Unreal.
Smite?
No, not Smite. Sorry, Fortnite. Yeah, duh.
Okay. So Fortnite and Paragon, but outside of that, have they done anything since like Gears of War?
The recent Unreal, like the Unreal Tournament, which is like they made the game.
I don't think that's actually like out yet, though.
Yeah,
I think that's just in like pre-alpha or something.
Well, they made it. I don't know. They're making it. Like, I don't know what you want from me, man.
I was just trying to figure out if they, actually had money, I guess, because I feel like they were quiet for a very long time.
I mean, they have money. They have the Unreal Engine that not everyone, but like
that's true.
A lot of companies use. So it's like,
and I don't know if it's still this way, but I believe for a little while Unreal 4 was basically a like you have to give a certain cut of the profits when you make a game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like it all, I think you can get like a special licensing deal that doesn't do that, but it's like I think it might be 25% of revenue past like $5,000 or something like that goes to Epic.
Jeez.
On a basic license, which is why like I think there's special licensing deals. Like I think like if did BioWare use for Mass Effect Andromeda, did they use the Unreal Engine or did they use Frostbite?
They used Frostbite.
Okay.
Why would they ever use Unreal?
The original Mass Effect was Unreal.
Yeah, like I think Mass Effect 1, but after that they moved away from it.
Okay. I'm just saying. But like I think like so like if BioWare makes a game in Unreal, like they wouldn't because they have the Frostbite engine, presumably, then they would probably make a special deal with Epic like, hey, we're gonna make a lot of money, so we don't want to pay the 25%. So this new deal, 3% or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, also like Rocket League is in the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Like they just print money at this point, right? So
yeah. I always forget that like Epic owns the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
It's just not something that I ever really remember. Like,
would you say that it's unreal?
No, I wouldn't say that because that's not a good joke.
Right, because every joke you make is good.
Yes, they are. My jokes are golden.
Yeah.
I am a comedic genius. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm tired.
Is Epic doing anything wrong? I guess this is where I left off.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, in terms of legally speaking, no, because you can't really copyright a genre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just not a thing. Because I mean, if that were the case, then we wouldn't have.
You can't even copyright game mechanics.
Yeah. Not really. I mean, so like legally, they're not really doing anything wrong. Is it like a super shitty thing to do? Yeah, a little bit. Because realistically, they probably didn't even have the idea until they saw PUBG, and they were like, "Hey, this could work in our thing." So then they slapped it together real quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Maybe they have been working on this as a concept for years and years, and they weren't planning on releasing it for like another year or two. But then PUBG came out, and they were like, "Fuck." So
yeah, I could believe that because it seems solidly built. Like from what I've seen, like the networking isn't terrible, which is
No, it is not great. Lag for days.
well, all right then. Never mind.
Typically, like if you are in a full game, the lag is pretty bad. Obviously, the more players that die and drop out, the connection gets way better, and so there's less lag. But like when you first start a game, like you are popping all over the place.
Interesting. All right. Well, never, I don't know then.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just put out the door like, hey, we can do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it is a beta, so
which
that.
I mean, that's like an entirely separate conversation, if you ask me, because a beta shouldn't be like a permanent stay until it's ready. Like,
it's a beta though. You're working on it. Yeah, you're right. It's silly.
Yeah, no, like if you're releasing a beta, it should be like for a couple weeks or something. You're having people test it out or whatever, and then you take it down and you go and you fix shit, and then you actually release it for real. It shouldn't be like this thing, because I wouldn't be surprised if like fucking a year and a half from now we boot it up and it still says it's in beta, because that's what happens nowadays, and that's stupid. It's one thing if you're early access,
like PUBG.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even then, like, there are games that stay in early access while being publicly playable a little bit too long.
Yeah,
because like I think it was like Ark was in early access for years and years and years. Like I owned it on Xbox for probably like a year and a half, maybe 2 years before it actually launched, and I don't know. I just feel like that's too long.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was like when it did launch and they were like, "Oh, it's going up to $60." Everyone started freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, "You had like 2 or 3 years to just buy it for $30." Like,
yeah,
get over it. Like, you fucked up.
Yeah,
it's gonna go on sale for $30 at some point in the future. Just like if you waited this long, you can wait until then. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the funniest part about that is, at least on Xbox, I don't know about Steam, but on Xbox, like when you are looking at early access titles, it tells you like explicitly, like, hey, this is most likely going to become a full-priced game. Right now it is cheaper, but it is also unfinished, so you can buy it right now and have it forever, even when it becomes full price, and not pay any more.
Yeah,
but it's not finished. So
yeah. Do you remember when Minecraft was $5?
Yeah, that's when I fucking bought it for PC/Mac.
Nice. I didn't get it until it was $15. Because I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna like this game. Turned out I didn't really like the game, so that's fine.
Yeah, I have technically purchased, I think, only 2 copies of Minecraft.
That we're getting the Xbox.
Yeah, I have the PC/Mac version, and then the Xbox version. And the Xbox version recently was like re-released as something like a completely different game. Like I had to go to the store and download it, and I was lucky that I booted it up when I did, because it was like, you can only upgrade essentially for this like short window after it was released. Yeah, I was like, this is, or wait, no, that was for people who own the disc-based version.
Oh, okay.
Digital owners get the upgrade no matter what.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. So
that makes more sense, because I was like,
yeah.
Good job on the play, or like it was like open play or whatever that they were trying to push, like crossplay.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's what this was. Is like that's what it was. Is like you had to download this entirely new client, so that you could upgrade to it. But like the weird and shitty thing about it is that it's kind of broken.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff that worked before now no longer works, and some stuff is like completely missing. And I'm sitting here like, how the hell does that happen?
It's probably. I mean, it's probably a temporary thing, in the sense that like they're gonna bring back all the features that you want.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, they
had to make sure that
a
like
couple times since then.
Because I assume that this update is pushed out to every version of the game except for PlayStation, right? So
probably, yeah.
And so it has to all be this exact same, and it's probably like more like there's probably like certain Xbox features that were harder to port over or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully it's temporary, because yeah, like from what I've heard, it's like it's just a shittier version.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You now have the shitty Minecraft.
Well, and the part that really gets me, and this has always been a problem, is that like I typically play with like the I think it's like the realistic texture pack, because it is easier for me, you know, sitting like 8 feet away from my television, to distinguish the block types, because they're a little more detailed and there's a larger contrast in a lot of the colors. So anytime I would go to load up my game, like in the old one, like you would go to load game, you would select the world, and then it would bring up essentially like the options menu where you could change the difficulty and play type and everything if you wanted to, and then you could go down and you know, like change character texture packs or the world texture packs and then launch it. But if you didn't like manually go in and select the texture pack, it would like automatically default back to the normal one. And it didn't always do it, but roughly about 90% of the time it would do that. So I would have to make sure that I would select that before I launch the world. Well, that same bug is there, except now the texture packs are buried in like it's like 4 fucking menus deep in the game, and not even like in the same area as launching a world. So I have to like go into like options, gameplay, like world, and then go down like 3 sections, select the texture that I want, and then go all the way back, go into play game, like load map, and then select the one that I want, and then it goes. And I'm like, this is...
Hey, you want like a 10,000 view video? Do a tutorial for that.
Yeah.
Like how to use textures in the new Minecraft.
Yeah.
Probably like 10,000 views. Anyway, so only on Split Couch Games can you go from a conversation about PUBG into Minecraft textures.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
We know you came here for that section of the podcast, so sorry it took so long to get there. Anyway, we're gonna end this. We're over our time, as always, and we'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Bye.
Bye.